Good morning. This is Deborah Matthews, Vicar of St Michael's, Verwood, and All Saints Three-Legged Cross. Welcome to my thought for Easter. For the first time in 3 years, we have been able to come into church for all of our services during Holy Week. This week is the most important week in the Christian calendar, and this year it has been more powerful than ever before. And I think that's probably because when we're not able to do something that we take for granted, we realise just how much it means to us and how much we miss it when we cannot observe it. But this week, the psalms and hymns and liturgies in the Holy Week services have once again led us through fears and sorrows to the joys of Easter. Alongside our services in church, we held a Passover supper in the parish centre, and this recalls the Jewish Passover meal. It's a celebration and thanksgiving to God for freeing the Jewish people from slavery in Egypt around 1400 years before the birth of Jesus. Passover was the meal that Jesus celebrated with his disciples on the night before he suffered. And I'm mentioning it now because there's a part in the liturgy which I found powerful and instructive for us today as Christians. The question is asked, how will our children learn to live by the stories that have given life to us unless we tell them? And let us tell them with conviction. In every generation, it is the duty of all people to regard themselves as though they personally came out of Egypt. So tell your sons and daughters, we do this because of what God did for me when I came out of Egypt. Our Christian liturgies tell the story of Jesus. It is his life and death and resurrection that we remember and bear witness to and enter into ourselves. So how will our children learn to live by the stories that have given us life unless we tell them about Jesus? In every generation, we should think of ourselves as though we were there to witness Jesus' ministry and death and resurrection, so that we can say to our children, I tell you these stories because this is what God has done for me in Jesus. Early on Easter morning, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb and saw that the stone that had sealed it had been removed. So she ran to tell Peter and the others, who ran back to see for themselves. Peter didn't seem so sure about what he had seen, but the other disciple believed, and they both went home. But Mary, staying there weeping, looking into the tomb, she saw angels sitting where Jesus' body had been laid. And they asked her, Why are you weeping? Mary said, They have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him. And then she turned and saw Jesus. Although not expecting to see him alive, she did not at first recognize him. But Jesus said to her, Woman, why are you weeping? And Mary said, If you have taken away the body of my Lord, tell me where you have laid him. Jesus looked at her and said, Mary. And hearing the Lord call her name, in that moment she knew him. And she said, Rabboni, which means teacher. And then gradually, in time, all those who had loved and served Jesus saw him and believed. This is our story. On Easter morning, we have come through death and emptiness to the joy of resurrection. And now we must share our story with each generation and give thanks to God for the new life that surrounds us. Alleluia! Christ is risen. He is risen indeed. Alleluia! May you experience for yourselves the joy of this Easter morning and listen to the Lord speak your name. Happy Easter.